Oh shit. Okay, we're on. I didn't.
You just decided to go live on you, huh?
Yeah, was not
After you
expecting
mashed the
the
live
quick.
button. Is
Yeah,
that what it was?
yeah. Was not expecting the quick live button there, but as you can see, you got me, Charles, with Patrick Brackett, and we are back after a week away for me to get some things together. So, welcome to the Breath of Fresh Air webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And Patrick, we have some things to catch up on. So let's start before we get to those things. Let's start with a preview of the Super Bowl. We have the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams were the number one seed from the regular season, and here they are about to meet for the trophy. What is it? I almost said the Larry O'Brien trophy, but that's basketball. My bad. Vince Lombardi trophy. There we go. So I had NBA on the brain. So
it's too early in the year to be messing up like that, Charles.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least I caught myself.
I gotta say something before we get started.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout this show, all y'all are gonna see this a lot, right? This is not me representing the Seattle Seahawks, just so you know. My son plays for South Walton Seahawks for basketball, and I am a part of the student section, just so you know. So this is just me repping my kid for his high school, just so everybody knows. I thought you were a Falcons fan. Already cleared up.
I'm pretty sure they would have noticed because they don't see Seattle on there.
Yeah, but it's the Seahawks because, like, I might go like this right here, and you just enough to see Seahawks, and you know how people are. Like, I thought you were a diehard Atlanta fan. Explanation's already been out there.
All right. I guess you got to cover bases. I get it.
Yeah.
But so with the Super Bowl, Patrick.
Hey, look, we got to make sure we're covered because it's starting to come back up.
So, all right. We can confirm Patrick has not transplanted over to Seattle Seahawks fandom. So there we go.
No.
So with that,
Geno Smith was killing it at the Pro Bowl.
The flag football Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
No. So let's get back on the Super Bowl. The
Pro Bowl, man, come on.
No, but any All-Star game these days are pretty much jokes. But
Can't say much about that. I hated them all. 5 years in running.
But back on the Super Bowl, Patrick. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles playing. We know what the Kansas City Chiefs are bringing with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. Have lots of weapons. So they were supposed to kind of go down on offense without Tyreek Hill, but they're still as productive as ever. With Travis Kelce, of course, a tight end, at Juju Smith-Schuster, and you have Marcus Valdez-Scantling going on. Why do you have that look on your face? What is going on, Patrick?
Oh, sorry.
You have the dookie look. I just figured I'd ask.
I did have a dookie look because I was looking at all of these wires. I was like, "What the hell is that? I don't recognize that wire." Sorry.
It's okay. And you have an underrated defense with the Chiefs as well. Of course, those dudes on the line with Chris Jones and Frank Clark wreaking havoc on the quarterback. And then you have Willie Gay and L'Jarius Sneed on the linebacking core and the secondary, respectively. For the Eagles, have a strong running game, physical running game, big physical offensive line. Jalen Hurts running the ball with Miles Sanders and Gainwell, and Boston Scott also. Good receivers with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert as a tight end, and then a defensive line that we have mentioned before who had a league-high 70 sacks in the regular season and a few sacks to boot, of course, in the playoffs. So, looks like a good matchup on paper, Patrick. Who do you have winning and why? And what's your score?
Well, I mean, obviously, neither one of these teams were in our radar of making it this far. But
yeah, we both have Buffalo and San Francisco.
Yeah. So before we get started on that, I want to give a shout out to both of these teams, man, for handling business, getting here to this part. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes leading their teams respectfully. Who would have thought Philly was going to do this type of run, right? And honestly, these type of runs, man, they don't just end with you losing at the Super Bowl a lot of times. You know what I mean? When you get this far, you're not showing up just to enjoy the week, as Patrick Mahomes said. We're not here to enjoy the week. We're here to win, right? I think Philly has that same mentality. I think Kansas City has that same mentality. And I think at this point, you got minor adjustments that can be made, through the game. But they're minor adjustments. At this point, you do what got you here. You know what I mean? If that's running the ball, it's running the ball. If it's throwing the ball, it's throwing the ball. Whatever that case may be, you should go out doing what you have done all season. So I think that this game is going to be very minor adjustments. Both of these teams are, like you said, high-powered offenses, both of them. And when you got Patrick Mahomes, regardless of his ankle, when you got Patrick Mahomes, apparently that doesn't matter because that man will play on broken limbs. And he goes out there and you said Schuster is going to be playing, so I can't imagine anybody sitting out for this game. I really can't. So, with that being said, both the high-powered offenses. You said that you said Philly with their 70 plus sacks on the season so far. I mean, my personal opinion, I think they add to a couple of them. I think they get a couple of sacks on Patrick Mahomes. I really do think they rush him. They force to see what that ankle is really, really made of. I don't think that the defense tees off on him by no means, but I do think the defense does get to him a little bit, forces him to push out, make those throws on that right ankle, see what it's made of. I really do. But with all of that, I think that as strong as Kansas City is, I feel that Philly is the stronger team. I feel that they're the more well-rounded team, and Philly has shown a couple of times throughout the season they can beat you in many different ways. Now, I know Kansas City has done the same thing, but the confidence level for that Philly team is through the roof right now. So I'm gonna go Philly. I think Jalen Hurts has him a hell of a day. I'm gonna go Philly, and I'm gonna go Philly 34-30.
All right, yeah, good score. Look, I think. All right, look, we know Patrick Mahomes is capable of putting up big numbers on any defense, of course.
I still think he has a hell of a day too. But
yeah, I think they what this matchup kind of reminds me of, and when I say this, I don't think this is going to be the final score, but what it kind of reminds me of is actually 2 years ago when the Chiefs played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Now, yes, get it. There's some differences there. Obviously, you don't have Tom Brady playing quarterback for the Eagles. You have Jalen Hurts playing, and you have a strong running game to complement that. The reason why I say there's some similarities here is because the Eagles' defensive line is one that can, their defensive line, meaning they can get pressure with their front four guys. That's what Tampa Bay was able to do well in that game a couple years ago. Now, granted, the Chiefs' offensive line, I think, is a little bit better, maybe Marner, like a lot better, actually, than they were back then. They look like they're intact, and I think they will have a pretty good plan. I mean, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, they're good offensive coaches, so I'm sure they'll be able to make those adjustments. But I do think the ability for the Eagles to get pressure with their front four will be a big difference. Now, having said that, if they're not able to do that with their front four, which hasn't been the case all year, but if they're not able to, they might be in trouble. Because now, of course, you're gonna have to play more man to man. Which, look, you and I were like, hey, play man to man, go after them, blitz them. But like you said, with the adjustments in the game and what got you here, that's not what the Eagles have been doing. The Eagles have been dependent on their front four, and they've been dependent on having a lot of guys back there in the secondary to take away from those big plays, even though they do have good corners in Bradbury and Darius Slay. So maybe that's a wrinkle the Eagles throw in there. But also on offense for the Eagles, I mean, they've been a machine. I mean, they've been running that running game and being able to play action off of it. That read option they've been doing with Jalen Hurts. I think it is a lot for the Chiefs to stop. And I think foundationally, with the offensive and defensive lines, the Eagles are better on both of those lines. It's not to say the Chiefs are bad, but the Eagles just have that foundation where both of those lines are the strengths of the team. And at this point of the season, it's the trenches. The trenches are what makes the difference. So you have an outlier. That dude is named Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. But I'm with you, Patrick. I do think the Eagles win a close one. So if Courtney is watching, yes, we are talking about your boy St. Patty, like you brought up to me the other day. But I think he's going to come up short here as well. So I have the Eagles. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than what you have it, Patrick. I'm going 37-34 with this one. I do think both offenses are going to get going. But I think the Eagles just have enough because they're more balanced. I think the Chiefs do. It's Patrick Mahomes, but I think in this matchup, it's probably too much. A little bit, just a smidge, a little bit too much on him. I think if the Chiefs are going to win, they will have to get some balance, probably force a turnover or two. But if they don't get that, I think it's going to be like down the middle, real close. And I do have the Eagles winning as well. So there you go. 37-34 for me. You got 34-30.
Yeah. All
right, man. Well, shoot. I guess with that, man, y'all do what y'all may. Leave y'all comments. If y'all disagree, agree. Y'all know we don't care.
And don't be scared.
Share y'all opinions. All right. Let's get to a couple of these topics that we didn't get to talk about since we weren't here. Tom Brady retiring. Now, when it happened, when that video came out last Wednesday, I remember you had called me and I was garbage, didn't answer the phone, but we finally did talk. we finally did catch up with each other, and you said you think he's done. Like, this is no coming back from this one. He is definitely calling it quits. No chance he's coming back. I personally I'm 85% there. Holding out a little bit of Tom Brady might get pulled into it come training camp, maybe OTAs or something like that. But just share. You can share like what has you thinking this is 100% he's gone.
Well, so I watched the thing on Instagram, and I have to give him a lot of credit because last year he used his "I'm retiring" and big whole ceremony, and tears were falling, and and all that stuff. For us, me and you both, we looked at that, we kind of saw right through it. To me, he wasn't ready, and I could see it. He played at a really high level the year before, and he just seemed like a person that was not willing to he was not ready to walk off the field like that. Fast forward to the one I saw on Instagram, and what was it, 57 seconds long?
Yeah, if that.
It was his eyes. His eyes. And to me, when a man puts himself out there like that, and you could see it, he didn't seem defeated. He didn't seem like the world was crashing around him. What he seemed, like I told you, is a man that lost something. And he's having to give up something he loves for something he loves. And that's a hard choice. You know what I mean? But man, when it comes to your family, when it comes to his wife and his kids, his 3 kids, I don't think football, I think he started realizing football wasn't worth losing that for. As much as he loves that sport and everything that football has given him throughout his, 21 years, 22 years, or whatever it was, 23 years. It's great what a sport can do for you, but man, when you lose a family, football's not worth that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that is worth it, and there's a lot of things that's not. And I can tell you, football is not one of those things that would be a high priority on my list to lose my family. And I'm gonna tell you, that list is very short. I mean, if anything's on it. So when I saw that, I looked at that man. I was seeing in that man's eyes, he's done. He's like, look, I appreciate all the things that football has given him. That wasn't worth what he lost. So that's the reason why I think he's done. I think he's done because of what he lost.
A couple of things on that point. So last year, yes, dude was still playing at a high level. And I also think when it comes to how the news of his retirement came out,
that snake.
Being broken by Adam Schefter, not a fan of his, but he is the one who broke that news. And people, I mean, pretty much anybody, but especially someone with Tom Brady's stature, likes to be in control of the narrative, likes to make sure he's going out on his terms. I think
rightfully so.
Yeah, so I think
he's
when
not Adam.
Yeah, so when I think that report came on out, it was kind of taken out of his hands at that point. And it almost felt like when he decided he was going to return, he was doing it to spite those reports, spite those people, and say, you know what, man, no one gonna tell me when I'm retiring, So it just kind of felt that way. It had that feeling. On top of the fact that he was still playing at a high level. But like you said, came in this year through a messy divorce with his now ex-wife Giselle. You could just look at it during the season. You see it on his face. He do these press conferences. He looked like a guy that was really, really stressed out. Mm-hmm. I mean, the smiles that he might have, and we know he's ultra competitive and he's not really smiling a whole bunch when he's out there on the field anyway. But even the smiles that did come out, really, really forced, it seemed like. It just didn't seem like a guy who was there. He was there physically, but was he there in spirit? Was he there mentally? I mean, that made it. Just looking at it from the outside, it didn't appear to be that he was there, that he was all there, like all the way there. That focused mentality that we're used to seeing from Tom Brady, Sundays in and Sundays out, or Mondays or Thursdays, depending on when the team's playing.
Or Saturdays or Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, or whenever they decide to play nowadays.
Any game day. And so it was just not a typical Brady campaign, and looking at that message, that video that he did leave last week, yeah, I mean, you could see it in his face. It was just, yeah, the eyes were there, the emotion was there. I'm not really concerned, and we talked about this just to give y'all a little bit of insight here on what we were discussing with the reports that come out, wondering if he had people there or if he had teams that were actually interested in them, or maybe the lack of interest or whatnot. I don't really care about that. That if you want to talk about that, fine, go ahead. We're just talking about the actual video, what was going through the man's mind at the time. And truthfully, looking at that video, I don't really think he cared about the teams that might have been interested or not interested. I really don't think that was a big deal to him. Looking at that video,
yeah,
I don't think he was really worried about that. So again, I think there's a small sliver. Maybe he can come back, but that video is pretty convincing.
Yeah.
That this man
to
is
me, it kind of looked like he was worried about one team. Team Brady. And that's it. And you know what? I love it. You go do you, man. I mean, you know, there's a lot of questions. I've been asked, well, do you think that he would have played at that high level last year if he didn't have to worry about his family? You don't know. That's the beauty about it, is you don't know. But my thing is, you know, look, I loved watching Tom Brady. I grew up in a fantastic time. I really did, especially when it comes to sports. Getting to watch Kobe, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. The list goes on and on and on. I can sit here and list them forever, probably. But getting to watch these guys, Serena Williams, you know, just to name another one, just to get to watch these people play in this time, it was awesome. Because I mean, we got to watch some of the best players to ever play the game in any sport, whether that be golf and Tiger Woods, or Phil Mickelson, or tennis with Djokovic and Serena and Venus and Nadal and Murray and all of those. To name the sport, just name the sport, and there's so many good athletes out there. And then you got Tom Brady, that's in football. I mean, and this man is the face of football. Everybody looks at this man and like, he's the GOAT. But no, I liked it. I like the fact that he's looking at it, and he's probably trying to mend that and put his family first, and doing all the things that he needs to do. That's what he wants. So no, go out and do you go out and do you, Tom. Don't worry about what everybody else says. If you're ready to retire, you retire. You ride off in the sunset with you and your wife and your kids, and you enjoy your time, your rest of your time on Earth, and do your sports casting, because you're gonna be damn good at it, bro.
All right, Patrick. Well, hey, let's move on, and then we'll talk about. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I do think more or less, yeah, he's done. I mean, I guess there was another report that came out and said he's not even going to go into the booth next year. He's just going to concentrate on his family, and I think just based off of what has happened, probably the best thing.
It's your life. It's Tom's life. Nobody can live it for him. Let him live his own life.
Yeah, exactly.
He's done quite a good job of it so far, so let him do the rest of it. Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
So let's look at Sean Payton coming in to Denver. He is now the head coach of the Broncos. Apparently, it's going to be, I think, $18 million per year. As the coach.
It was crazy.
And he's gonna be there for a while, 4, 5, 6 years. I mean, I forget the years that he's gonna be in there, but yeah, but he's there. He is the coach of the Broncos via trade with the New Orleans Saints. And now the questions begin on how can he How can he fix a broken quarterback? Because Russell Wilson looked broken. So I guess a couple of things, Patrick, and just to get your views on this. How good is Sean Payton? And is Russell Wilson fixable?
Don't make the freaking questions easy, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
no easy questions here.
You're not a hardcore reporter right now. Hold on. Hey.
I do have a journalism background. So
you do, but hey, I don't.
It's okay.
You know what? I'm going to answer that question with you because I got an answer.
You never ran away.
You always know I got an answer.
Yeah. So.
So all right. Look, he hasn't won a Super Bowl in what, 13 years? He's pushing on my 15-year mark anyway.
It has been 2009.
2009. So 13 years. Okay, so 13 years. He hasn't won in 13 years, right? Don't get me wrong. He hasn't had some of the best New Orleans Saints teams. I mean, with Drew Brees, that made it a breeze. Jeez, come on. No pun intended, right? Pun intended. But with Drew Brees as your quarterback, your job gets easier. But then you throw Jameis Winston in there, your job's not as easy as it was. And you're like, well, maybe I should just retire because I don't have it anymore. It's not that you don't have it, it's just you don't have a QB that can handle what Drew Brees and what you were used to. So now you have to figure that out. Personal opinion, though, I would say this, is Sean Payton is he's a good coach. He's not an elite coach. He's got one Super Bowl under his belt, and it came with one of the best Saints teams money could buy. That was the best team that you'd ever see in New Orleans, and you'll probably never see one that good again. There was a lot of money in that team, and it was a good one. And that's coming from an Atlanta fan. That team. So is Sean Payton as good as advertised? Huh?
I say you just look so bitter when you talk sometimes.
You're asking me about the Saints. Well, now he's in Denver. I don't have to worry about him too much. But if he is good as advertised, he's a good coach. But he's not an elite coach. And then on Russell Wilson, can you fix a broken quarterback? Yeah. Are you going to fix that broken quarterback? No. Russell Wilson has had his time. He has played at this level. My personal opinion, I'd never put him as an elite quarterback. He was pretty good that campaign he had when he won the Super Bowl, but that defense or that run game was 10 times better than his pass game will ever be.
Yeah, so, and that defense too.
And that defense was pretty freaking legit too. So, can you fix a broken quarterback? Maybe. This one, no. Russell Wilson is too ingrained in his own way. He's too old to be changing his mind on how he wants to run anything. He still thinks he can run up and down the field. He can't. He still thinks he can run. He can throw it 60, 70, 75 yards down the field. He can't. He thinks he's 70% accurate. He's not. And honestly, his decision making is not as fast as it's ever been. As a matter of fact, it's slower. So I don't think Sean Payton moves the needle in Denver. I think if you're going to move the needle, you need to get a new quarterback. I mean, I think Sean Payton would move the needle if it wasn't for Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson is not the guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl. He's not anymore. So is it a good hire? I like the hire, but it's not going to amount to anything with Russell Wilson under center. It's just not. I don't see it anyway.
So the one thing that needs to be fixed before even, I mean, and I know we started the conversation with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, but man, Denver's offensive line was bad. Boy, it was bad.
So was the defensive line.
And talking about the foundation of the teams, there's no quarterback who is going to be successful with that offensive line. And I think Denver gave up the most sacks in the league this year. It was 63 sacks they gave up. That's a lot. And so if you have that many sacks, it could be Russell Wilson, it could be Brett Rippon, it could be Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, it could be any quarterback. When you're back there getting hit like that, there's not a quarterback who's going to have success back there. Now, having said that,
Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford. He's about the only one that can pull it off.
And that didn't work out a whole bunch.
It didn't work out. You have a better chance of Matthew Stafford than any other quarterback. I'll say that.
Well, I mean, at least we have the visual evidence there with him playing in Detroit all those years. But Russell Wilson. With that said, with the offensive line, he does kind of try to go off script a lot of times. I think that's where that relationship with Pete Carroll kind of fell apart. And then this year, you had a first-year head coach in Nathaniel Hackett, and that didn't work out at all. I mean, Hackett, of course, is not even there anymore. He didn't even last the whole season. And now you bring in Sean Payton. Here's the thing. When they brought in Russell Wilson, Denver did this thinking they had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. They felt that team was pretty well set. Had a good defense. You had weapons outside with the receivers. You had good running backs. But I remember you and I were talking about it. That offensive line, though, we don't know about it. That offensive line might be a little bit questionable. And come to find out, they were beyond questionable. They were bad. So if you look, I mean, just looking at it, yes, Sean Payton comes in there. It's definitely an upgrade from Nathaniel Hackett for sure. But also the team needs some work. Just does. I mean, even if you're going to have any opportunity to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson as the quarterback, the roster needs some work. Because speaking off of the whole elite conversation with Russell Wilson, that team needs to be good around him. He's not that quarterback who is going to carry a franchise. They're paying him like one, but he is not that guy who is going to be that guy.
Patrick Mahomes?
We really haven't seen it. just haven't seen it. I mean, because it's like you get to that stage, you get to that point, you get to that divisional playoff round, and if your team has flaws, that's when your quarterback is supposed to be able. He's got to make up for those flaws.
Yep. And
Russell Wilson is not that guy. So the roster needs some work, especially that offensive line. If Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos brass, whoever it is, if they want to have any competition, if they want to have any hope of doing that, they need to work on that roster a little bit. I mean, as it stands right now, they're not even the best team in that division.
Right.
I mean, maybe third, depending on how you feel about the Chargers. Which I don't feel good about the Chargers either. But definitely not better than the Chiefs. So I mean, that's what you're going against. And the AFC nowadays, man, really, really loaded. So there's some work to do in Denver if that's going to transpire in a way where Denver can actually compete for titles.
Yep.
Well, shoot. All right. I mean, God, I guess we're in agreement. Let's get it. Let's talk about NBA trade deadline. So nothing really has happened except on Sunday when the Brooklyn Nets decided to trade Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks down here in my neck of the woods, in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and 2 or 3 draft picks. So
2024, 2027, and a 2029. First round in the 24, and then 27 and 29 second round draft pick.
So with that, a lot to give up for Kyrie Irving, and it goes off of, well, okay, number one, he requested a trade Friday, and the Nets went ahead and traded him to the Mavericks. Now, more on that back in a minute, but for what it means for the Mavericks, hey, now me personally, y'all know my thoughts. I did a shorty on it yesterday, Monday, so if y'all haven't caught it yet, go ahead and check it out. But basically, I don't like the trade for Dallas. Yes, you are getting Kyrie Irving. It's a pairing with Luka Doncic. And I know with those two guys, a lot of scoring can take place. But the fact is, Patrick, Dallas is going to be in a lot of 145 to 140 games now because they have no defense. The defense was struggling before they made the trade. And they're having a subpar season after going to the Western Conference Finals last season. So this looks like an act of desperation here from Dallas. And then on top of that, hey, Kyrie, it was reported he wants an extension, a max extension, a long-term extension. 5 years or 4 years for $200 million type of extension. I don't know a team who's going to give him that. But that's what he's looking for. So it really looks like a half a year rental for Dallas. Because apparently he wanted to go to the Lakers. Now, again, more on that in a minute. But your thoughts about the Mavs getting Kyrie Irving? Because you had Dallas coming back to the Western Conference Finals this year.
I did. And now they've downgraded themselves. Look, Kyrie Irving is definitely not worth $200 million for 5 years. That's one. So to me, it does look like a half a year rental. They're probably going to pawn him off to the Lakers when the Lakers might have some money. Maybe, I don't know. Lakers are spending their money.
They have their own. They have
They have a lot of problems. They have their own problems, and one of them is they don't have any money. So, no, I'm in agreement with you. I haven't seen your shorty yet, and I'll admit that I am going to watch it tomorrow while I'm on my way to a meeting. But I'll agree with you. I don't like the trade. I don't like what they give, and I don't like what they gave up to get him. 1, 2, he's not worth $200 million, nor he's worth what they gave up. And 3, they just bought into a baby. I mean, like a guy that you don't know if he's going to be willing to go on the court. You don't know what you're going to get out of Kyrie. He has been problematic for Brooklyn since day one, and honestly, Brooklyn stole it. They stole that deal. It looked like they walked up to Dallas and was like, put a gun in their head, give me your chains and your kicks. Okay. I'm like, I can't believe they gave that up. But I mean, I do try my best to look at what you always say. It's not what he's done in the past, it's what can he possibly do for my team in the future, kind of thing. And I keep trying to think of things that he possibly could do good. But like you said, they were struggling on defense, and now they're going to struggle even more on defense. They gave up potential draft picks that could have been phenomenal for the team, especially the number 1 next year. So I'm kind of still trying to figure out what he could possibly do. And I can't find anything that is remotely good about this trade at all. At all. I mean, somebody leave a comment or something telling me what they think that is good about this trade, because I can't find nothing. I don't like the trade. I don't like Kyrie going to Dallas. One of those things where I was like, either stay in Brooklyn or retire, dude. I'm kind of tired of hearing about him because he finds his way in the news. Some dumb crap, dude.
Yeah, he has been a garbage teammate, cancerous teammate.
Yeah,
it seems to want to throw guys under the bus all the time, and when
not taking away from his talent.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a bucket getter. That's what he does. And so when he gets on the court, he's gonna score.
Yeah,
I mean, he is one of the most prolific offensive players we have seen in recent memory. Being able to finish in the at the rim with either hand, from whatever angle. The handles he has, the handles he has is ridiculous, and he can hit a shot from anywhere. Set shot, fade away, it doesn't even matter. That dude, he is a bucket. He's
a bucket getter, like you said.
You put him with Luka Doncic, and you have two of the best bucket getters in the league. But, like you said, you defensively and everything else, you're taking a what I would say a significant hit if you are Dallas. And I think with that desperation of we need to get somebody to help Luka. Well, number one, you traded for Christian Wood, got him from the Houston Rockets earlier in the year, or before the season started. So that was supposed to be your help for Luka Doncic. To me, this is on Jason Kidd, the head coach, more than anything else. Stop talking about, and this is going to the Dallas brass, whoever's listening, Mark Cuban, Nico Harrison, the GM, all of them. Stop talking about y'all need help or Luka Doncic. If you're going to get upset when somebody puts this mural, I'll have to send you the picture of this later, Patrick, but there's a mural that said, hey, get Doncic some help. And Mark Cuban got mad at the mural in Dallas. So you're mad about that mural, but what do? You trade it, you go get help. so I don't understand.
But you got the wrong help.
Yeah. And so it's not really the right help. Again, you get a bucket getter, but the rest of your team, the other aspects of your team, the rebounding, the passing, the defense especially, is taking a hit. And so I'm with you. I think a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year, first, second round exit is what I'm seeing. And as it is, they're sitting at fact checking on the standings. So they're sitting at 5. All right. So top 6 make the playoffs. 7 and 8 is play it.
7, 8, 9, and 10 is all playing.
Yeah, they're all playing. So I mean, I think
and I can tell you right now, adding Kyrie to that, you're probably going to see Golden State, Minnesota, New Orleans, or Utah, and I'll pick every one of them over Dallas.
So yeah, not really liking that trade at all, man. And real quick, so the thing with Kyrie, here's another angle with this. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't think they wanted to give Kyrie what he was ultimately looking for. Ultimately, according to reports, don't know, but ultimately he was looking to get traded to the Lakers. Now, on the surface, why wouldn't he want to get traded to the Lakers? Here's why. He gets to play with LeBron James. The only time he has had success in the league is with LeBron James on his team. He's gone everywhere else. He went to Boston, place got set on fire. Went to Brooklyn, place got set on fire. We'll see if Dallas gets set on fire.
With Dallas, place is set on fire.
Yeah. So, but in Cleveland, before he basically ran out there and set it on fire, they won a title. So his best days has been with LeBron there. So it would seem logical why he would want to go to LA and be back with LeBron. I don't think the Nets really wanted to send him there because I don't think their owner wanted him to go there. I think their thinking was, man, we're not giving Kyrie what he wants. We're going to do what we want to do. And whoever is taking it besides the Lakers, we're going to go ahead and do that. So, hey, just like you said, hey, Dallas, you can have Kyrie, but we want this, and a bag of chips and a stick of gum and some more money.
Yeah. And they were like, okay.
Yeah.
No, damn good and well, LA couldn't give any of that stuff to them because LA doesn't have any picks.
So LA, they have these 2 first-round draft picks that they were dangling, but the draft picks weren't supposed. The first one wasn't supposed to kick in until 2027, and then they were going to have a few of the younger players that Brooklyn might have wanted to throw that in there. I don't think the Lakers. Personally, I think the Nets owner was saying, no, we don't want to trade them to the Lakers. And then on top of that, I don't think the Lakers were willing to give them all that either. I think what they were looking for, I think what they were looking for more or less is to get Kyrie. If they were going to trade for Kyrie, I think they wanted to line up the contracts with what LeBron is under right now, which is this year and then next year. They weren't trying to give Kyrie like what we were talking about with that max extension. Nobody's trying to give Kyrie a max extension because you can't rely on him. So no one is trying to give him that. So I don't think the Lakers are really trying to put themselves in a position to do another deal that was going to do what LeBron wants. It's time for the Lakers, and I think they are realizing this, but you cannot, I'm going to say this again, I've said it before about other players, and I'm going to say it about LeBron here. You cannot, I don't care how good a man is playing, you cannot center your team around a guy who has been in the league for 20 years. You can't do it. Hell no, do not do that, because you're setting your future on fire if you do that. You have to have some aspects, and we know the Lakers never operated that way. We know the Lakers are about getting the trade, getting the big time player, doing everything they can to try to win now, right now, as much as they can right now. But there has to be a transition at some point that says, man, we got to build for the future here. And you did the whole LeBron thing. Excuse me. You did the whole LeBron thing. You listened to him when it came to Russell Westbrook. That's been a disaster. Actually, this year it's actually been decent compared to what it was last year because Russell Westbrook is doing all right coming off the bench.
Yeah. Well, he's accepted the role. That's the difference. Last year he didn't want to. This year he is.
Sure didn't. And so
I'll give Russell Wilson that. Russell Wilson, Jesus.
Westbrook, I got you.
I will give Westbrook the benefit of the doubt on that because he is accepting that role coming off the bench. But, like you said, listening to LeBron James. Oh, sorry, you go ahead and I'll say my part here in a minute.
No, it's all right. But that's the thing, though, man. You just cannot continue to build your team around him. If you have this year and next year, Chiefs will be Super Bowl champs. Jonathan Morgan popped in. What's up, Jonathan?
Not.
Yep. Notice he's not saying that the Texas boy is leading them there. But notice he didn't say that. Don't worry, Jonathan. I just figured I'd beat you to it because I know some Texas joke is coming.
Well, surprising is he's not picking Jalen Hurts, which
he's also from Texas. Yes,
but he played for Oklahoma one year.
Yeah, he sure did. Look at he said, "Stop hating." I'm not hating. This is true. This is true.
Back. That's all I gotta say. I ain't hating on nobody.
This is truth. We're just telling the truth here.
Back.
So look at him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I went either way." Garbage. And so
I ain't even hearing that. You know what? I'm gonna put a sticky over that comment because I don't even want to see it anymore.
Oh man. So no, Patrick, to close it out, man. I mean, going back to the Kyrie Irving trade and what all this means for the Lakers, because LeBron came on. Of course, he does what he does: cryptic tweets, cryptic responses to everything. And I mean, I guess he was a little salty that they didn't get Kyrie. But again, teams cannot be continued to held a hostage over this dude. So,
but LeBron was salty if he got him and if he didn't. I mean, like I was listening to some of the comments that LeBron was making because listening to what network is it? LBJN.
Yes, LBJSPN. Yes, better known as ESPN. So, yes.
If we're listening to that, he's like, well, I'm not the one that makes the decision. I was like, bull crap.
The leader of the player empowerment movement is now just a player.
Yeah. Now just a player. All of a sudden, again, I'm just a player. I don't make the calls. Oh, God. Never in my life have I just want to walk up to somebody and go, oh, crap. Bull crap. Calling your bluff. Red flag. Challenge the play. Challenging that. You're full of crap.
Oh, man. Well, Patrick, to close, your boy, LeBron, might make some history either tonight or Thursday night. He is 36 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
We're not talking about this.
Huh?
We're not talking about this.
Yes, we are. It's my show. But... Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit.
I can't believe you pulled It's My Show card.
I know. That sounds so garbage on me. All right. Hey, you know what? Hey, give me the dookie look for that, Patrick. That's trash. That's trash. Yes, that is awful.
Are we 4 now?
I'm garbage for that. Yeah. I'm trash.
No, let's talk about it.
Just for a little bit, man, because this is the thing is, this is history that we're witnessing. And I'll say this. He's 36 points short of passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points scored in NBA history. It will probably either happen tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder or Thursday night when they play the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll say this, Patrick. And this is the point that I wanted to get to, which you're probably going to laugh at this. Excuse me if I'm not just sitting here like, oh my God, I'm witnessing history here. Just kind of like, eh. And I think it has something to do with the person who's doing it. I don't know, man. Is there something wrong with me?
So let me look. I'm not. We all know I'm not a huge fan of LeBron James at all. We all know that. But
before you go on, Jonathan's comments. So I'm sorry, that was kind of funny. It was like, no, Jonathan, I don't do that. All right, I don't do that.
He did say that though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and I went.
I know.
I put my belt in. Fine. We're no friends anymore.
Sorry. That's
no,
terrible.
I'm telling your mom. I am telling
all right.
you.
My mom.
How big of a baby you were acting on the show, live, telling her.
Don't worry. My mom will see it. She will tell you all about it.
So to be completely transparent about the whole situation about LeBron, more than likely beating it tonight. I would assume he's going to beat it tonight unless he just has a crappy game and goes 6 for 30. I don't see it, but let's just say he doesn't. Credit where credit's due, man. He would be the all-time leading scorer. Yeah, but to be honest with you, I'm not looking at it going, wow, he's the all-time leading scorer. And it's honestly not because of the person, really. It's because of the league. The league doesn't push defense anymore. So this man he really gets to run amok in the paint. He really does. So I'm not really looking at it because it's LeBron James. I'm really looking at it at the league going, if you make it a little bit tougher for contested shots or contested drives, and then not look at LeBron as, oh man, it's LeBron James. We got to make sure we get this blocking call. You know what I mean? The league has got to look at it and say, we got to fix the defense a little bit. You know what I mean? Make it harder for these people to hit these strides. I'm not looking at LeBron going like you said, and I honestly don't think you are either. I really do think you'll probably look at it as more of a league thing, saying there's really no defense that stops this man from scoring that many points.
Nah, Patrick. I am looking at it that way.
I stand corrected then.
I am, because
I honestly, I would look at it if any player was in LeBron James' shoes. To me, the league is just really soft. And it's made for a man like LeBron James to beat Kareem's record. It's made for him to beat the record. And honestly, I could care less, because I mean, it's just like the Aaron Judge home run show that we got last year. I didn't care about that crap either. And it's not because Aaron Judge. It's just because everything is just set for this to start happening now. It just is.
Yeah, and I just think, look, LeBron.
Jonathan, that's right.
He's right. They don't play any defense. LeBron's a phenomenal player. All right, look, we gonna be objective about this. The dude he is really, really good. He's gonna be first in scoring. And he's also fourth all-time in assists. Now, for a guy who is 6'8", 260, who's built like a robot, although he doesn't act like the big freight train that he is a lot of times. But
no, it looks like a piece of paper.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna bring LeBron back.
Yeah, LeFlop. Yeah, and so but based off of what he has done in the league in terms of the scoring and the passing and stuff, hey man, he has been a phenomenal player in all 20 years. And I mean, and then for him to be in the league for 20 years and still playing pretty well says a lot about his longevity. So, I want that to be known, because it's not that we're trying to take away any credit from what he has done, what he's done as a player, how successful he has been as a player. I think my thing with the history thing, it just goes back to what we were talking about. Like if he does a farewell tour, and that's going to come at some point.
Oh yeah,
it's wild. If it comes to a farewell tour, I'm not gonna sit there and look at it like, I'm just gonna be like, all right, just kind of neutral with it. Part of me is gonna say, just you know what, just go away. Yeah. And I think it's because of that. That petty stuff, man. Stop being petty about things. Just you go out there, play basketball. Okay, whatever, man. We know that you're great. We know that you're going to do these records, but he's always contradicting himself on stuff. And then he gets mad at the media. People just kiss his butt all the time. And it's just like, LeBron, all right, yeah, we know you're good, but go away. That's kind of how I feel.
Throw the deuces and get out, bro. Make some room for somebody else to cry.
But not taking anything away. He's been a phenomenal player.
Absolutely.
And for him to be a top in passing, just one of the top assist guys, and about to be the leading scorer guy. So yeah, put him on the court with the Jonathan. Okay, so Jonathan did a backhanded props.
That's the best comment Jonathan's ever put on the show. I love it.
Oh man. So hey, with that, Patrick,
shout out to Jonathan every week for that.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about LeBron, I'll be like, shout out to Jonathan in his backhand comment, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
So on that note, we're gonna get on up out, man. That will include the Breath of Fresh Air webcast for this week. That is what we are breathing on. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Breath of Fresh Air webcast YouTube channel, or Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button. And keep the likes coming on, or excuse me, follow the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl. You could leave comments on whatever events happens. I mean, it's got the trade deadline coming up on Thursday. We just mentioned LeBron James breaking the scoring record. If you want to go on there and leave comments on that, you can. And the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. So lots going on. And then, next week, Patrick, we will have to jump on some college basketball too. This is around the time where we start kind of looking at it after football ending and stuff. And then, of course, before you know it, it'll be time for March Madness. So we'll get into that a little bit next week. Until then, everybody take care and have a good rest of the week.